am here right now with Coach Mytych from Rutgers University, who is hosting and one of the clinicians here at the Garden State Wrestling Camp here at St. Joe's Metuchen in Metuchen, New Jersey. Coach, thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So obviously, you know, we'll get started with some things and just talk a little bit about the program and as far as the camp goes as a whole. How do you feel about the camp, how it went today?
I love the setup. It's pretty cool. All the kids have a number on the back of their shirt. I thought that was pretty unique. It's actually the first time I've ever seen that in the sport of wrestling. So I was kind of joking around, you know, if one of the little kids hit like a nice move, I'd be like, number 11, need information on number 11. So I thought that was pretty unique. I thought that was pretty cool. So the way that Kyle has it set up, you know, he has the girls on 2 mats, the guys on the other mats, and the youth kids on another mat. I do like how it's spread out so you can identify actually who people are and things like that. So, yeah, it was a great session, great success, and, you know, I know there's a couple more, and they're in there right now. So kids are working hard. It's good stuff.
Now, obviously, you know, with how wrestling has evolved over the years, especially in this century now, what do you think about it's like when you're seeing like the youth kids coming in, when you see the high schoolers and then they're getting ready for the collegiate level, like how much of wrestling do you think has really evolved over time in the state of New Jersey?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Not only in the state of Jersey, but just kind of the whole country, right? So just this year, there were 2 high school kids that beat the #1 guy in the world on the freestyle circuit, right? Jax Forrest and Marcus Blaze. That's unheard of stuff, you know, and it's now trickling down into the youth kids. A lot of these Jersey kids in here, I've known them since they were 8 years old, and one of them I actually just coached. He wrestles for Team Puerto Rico. He was a bronze medalist, Braden De Jesus. So it's been pretty cool to be involved with him since he was very little, watch him grow up, and now he's 14, 15 years old, and just kind of seeing him evolve and to not only, you know, being good in the state of New Jersey and the country, but now, you know, kind of being one of the best kids in the world. So, and there's numerous kids in there that are just like that, just using him as an example because it was so recent. But it's really just a testament to the clubs in the state of Jersey, in the tri-state area too. They're doing such a good job at such a young age of giving these kids really good opportunities to wrestle across the country. And the way they're training, they don't have any bad habits. So by the time we get them at the college level, you know, we're kind of tweaking them and fixing them a little bit, but it's more technical things. It's not, you know, kind of bad habits like it used to be maybe, say, 10 years ago. These kids are just so far ahead, certainly than when I was wrestling at that age. So it's pretty neat to just see how much the sport's evolved and just how talented the kids are.
And just following up, I want to follow up on that traveling at such a young age in the youth program. I know we were talking about before we went on, you know, on live. You know, we talk about like kids traveling all over the place now. There's so many different clubs that are opening up. You see Virginia Beach duels happening usually at the end of May before like Memorial Day weekend around there. You see kids in freestyle that are going all the way out to Fargo, North Dakota, which is like unheard of. That's like almost a place like, you know, not many people even think about ever hosting a wrestling tournament or anything like that. But just like, you know, as those kids get older, they get themselves used to the level of when they go to the college level, like no matter what division they wrestle in and decide to wrestle in, they're already getting used to that competition all around the country. So just touch up a little bit more on that and like what you see in like the rest of the country, you know, being a college coach.
Yeah, so I actually get to live both worlds. So my son's 13 years old, so we do the circuit with him. So he does Tulsa twice a year, Reno, Nevada, wrestled in Guatemala City at the Pan Ams where he took 2 silver medals as a 13-year-old. We actually, my wife and I, we kept every receipt for a full year of everything we did, and it was $28,000 that we spent on the youth wrestling for that year. It's kind of crazy, but you know, it's the investment, right, you're putting in to get back. Hopefully by the time you reach college, you get your 5-year scholarship, right? So you're kind of paying up front and making sacrifices early to get rewarded and hopefully succeed on the back end, right? So just a little tidbit there of kind of how that works.
I mean, that's really the only way that you're going to get kids that are going to get better is if they do travel to other places around, because as you know, everybody knows that New Jersey wrestling is one of the top in the nation, of course, too. Mm-hmm. And then when you go to somewhere else, too, I think other states would be like almost a culture shock, And I think that's like one of those things that you want to be able to see the different styles and the different states of like which one breeds wrestling differently than other states. Like New Jersey is wrestling. I always compare it to Texas, where we're like the football of Texas and upstate in the state of New Jersey. Mm-hmm. But just kind of also, I just want to really ask too, because you're as a college wrestling coach, as a D1 coach at Rutgers, you guys wrestle in a very tough conference. You guys get yourselves ready to go each and every year, and you have guys like PJ Casale and Andy Clark that were here today. Yep. So just talk a little bit about like those guys that are paying back to what they were growing up with in terms of wrestling and has breeded wrestling in their whole lives. What are you looking for, like for young guys like your two wrestlers that were here today, to really try to embed into these kids today?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to see Andy and PJ here, giving back to the youth kids and even the high school kids, right? They're here giving back. They're great kids, phenomenal wrestlers on the mat, but off the mat, they do everything right. They have much respect in our program and around the state of New Jersey. And I also do think too that having them come in, be involved, showing technique, helping the kids, it's actually helping them, right? So when you get to the point where you can actually teach, that means you're actually learning the sport yourself, right? So it's much different than just doing it and then breaking it down to the little finer details to try to teach a youth kid and a middle school kid and a high school kid. So while they're giving back and doing the right thing, they're also maybe not realizing that they're also benefiting from it just by being able to break down the finer details of everything.
Of course. And when you're looking at wrestlers and when you're looking for the recruiting process, when it does time for them to come wrestle and if they decide to, you want them to be the ones that are really going out there in the communities and really preaching the sport of wrestling of like it's an important thing. And as like even as a coaching level too, everybody's set to like different expectations. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys really like as far as you as a coach, and when you're talking with guys like PJ and Andy that are here, during the regular season or even in the off season too, like what are some things that you really just encourage them to make sure that they're staying in shape for wrestling? Like, is it nutrition? Is it keeping to healthy meals? Like, what is the secret sauce for that?
Yeah, so we try to keep the kids living within 12 pounds of their weight all summer long. We train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at 10 a.m. So it's our RTC. So we're actually able to have kids within 250 miles of the campus come in, high school kids that qualify at that time too. So if you guys ever want to come up, let me know. It's a really good room. We have, world champions in there, world age level champions in there. All of our guys, obviously PJ and Andy are in there, right? It's a great setup, and that's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 10 a.m. Then they lift on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Saturday, Sunday, we always have a little something, but we're a little more lenient here, in the summertime right now, just because we know those guys are putting the extra work in and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of a schedule, but it's a little free, and we'll do some beach training. We'll be going down the Seaside Heights here soon. The lifeguards put all of our guys through a beach workout, and they swim out in the water, and some of them are a little nervous to do it. So it's pretty cool. We have where we're located, we just have such a phenomenal setup and support from all over, whether it's the Jersey State Police, the Seaside Heights beach guys, they come in, and it's just pretty cool. It's just pretty unique how everybody supports everybody, and especially the Rutgers wrestling program.
Well, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Instagram page or the Facebook page for that, because I find that very intriguing. I saw that about 4 years ago where you guys were down there and wrestling down at the beach as like a practice. And like some people think of it as like, yeah, that's different. You don't really hear about that very often, but that really does promote a lot of great things about the sport as well too. But not only just for that, but like being able to know, like, if they can run through the sand and be able to wrestle through like the waves and riptides, especially in a place like Seaside in Jersey, you know, you could pretty much do anything at that point. So
absolutely. Hey, you could train for wrestling no matter where you're at. No excuses.
Absolutely. Just you know, we'll just wrap it up here a little bit with one question. But as we end this camp here, you know, for the day, and as we have other coaches coming in, you know, you see a lot of youth, you see a lot of potential for a lot of kids. I saw it when I was seeing some kids as I was getting some footage in. As I was looking at some of those guys, there's a lot of great wrestling going on in that room right now. So just talk a little bit about, like, what is your advice for like those younger guys in specific, because they're going to be the future and the newer generation of New Jersey wrestling. What is the advice that you would give to them to continue on for their Jersey legacy in the sport of wrestling? Because, you know, it starts when you're young.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the one thing I love about wrestling is that you kind of control your own destiny. It's an individual sport, so there's not a lot of excuses in the realm of not being in shape, you know, not sleeping right, not eating right, not training right. Like, you can control all those things, right? So there are a lot of controllables, and being here right now, it's Thursday night. These kids are in here training their butts off, right? They could easily be at home playing video games or running around. So these kids are, you know, they're making sacrifices, you know, they're doing the extra work. And Kyle, Coach Kiss, has done a phenomenal job of building this up from all the levels, from the girls to the high school kids to the middle school and to the youth. There's a lot of firepower in there right now. I mean, just looking around the room, that I know right off the top of my head, I could find at least 15 state titles in there. I know there's 2 kids that have 4 Pan Am medals between the 2 of them. And really it goes on and on. So the one girl I saw in there, she hit the misdirection low single perfect. I walked right up to her. I said, "You're pretty good. You know, what'd you do in states this year?" She's like, "I took 5th as a freshman. I'm only going to be a sophomore." So I was able to, boom, right there, see it out of the corner of my eye. So Kyle's doing a great job building this thing up, and I'm super excited to come back next year and help him build this thing.
I mean, this is a really prestigious camp, more prestigious than people really think. I think it's a low-key camp, but I really think it's going to start building up in the future, especially now that they're realizing and advertising, like, all these different coaches and, you know, everybody's around, and they're really going to start keeping an eye on kids that are really going to be hard workers and ones that are going to be leading up into college wrestling someday. So it's great to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm pumped. Hopefully I'll be back.
Of course. Well, thank you, Coach Mytych. It's been a pleasure with you. Thank you so much. Coach Mytych, everybody. James Clark from GSHSW.com.